Hello and welcome everyone. Hopefully you're all having a great day. Let's see, today is Tuesday, May 1st, which I think is a holiday for some people. And Root Guy is going to get some Chick-fil-A. Well, have fun, Root Guy. Hopefully you have something good. So this is a Tuesday, so hopefully they serve tacos there. I think Taco Tuesday is still in effect, even if you get a Chick-fil-A. Good evening to you as well, Async Awake. But it's about 2 p.m. here, so middle of the afternoon here. But I know for all the Europeans it's evening, so good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. If you're West Coast, I guess it's morning. And if you're even further east, over into Asia, it's probably night already. So I apologize for the fact that my stream starts a little bit late for some of you. Alright, so as I'm sure most of you have come to expect, we're going to be doing some coding here. For anybody that is new and doesn't know, my name is Brendan, and I'm usually around the internet as Brendonius, but here we are DevChatter, and hopefully you're ready for some coding. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of recap of things. All the code that we work on stream is out on GitHub at github.com/devchatter, so you can find it all there. Everything we do, we end up pushing out there. And hello to you as well, Twitchloff. So, what we have, I am going to look at a couple of the pull requests and issues that we've got that are new out on our GitHub that people have put in here for us. The pull requests that we've got that came in, one of them is proving that the unit tests can work in Docker, which is from, well, it's Daniel Pritchett, but I think on Twitch you guys probably know him as Pritchett Bots. Let's see, so in this one, what do we have? Screenshot of it running in Docker with the tests executing, and then branch is out of date, but that's not going to be a problem, I'm sure, because if we look at the actual files that changed here, added a Docker file and a Docker compose file. So these will probably bring in, but I'm not going to click that button just now. And that page is out of date, but it really isn't, because all I did was a merge, and none of these files should have changed, because they're new. So when all you have are new files, it's a little weird to expect that page to change. But GitHub's probably just doing that based on the ID value of the top commit. Okay, so new issues that came in. One of them is wrap the dreaded 500 error. And I think we might tackle this. In fact, this might be the first thing that we do today before we jump back to our... we were working on caching and using the decorator pattern to set up that caching on our last stream. But I think we might knock out this 500 error first, because it comes up so frequently while we're doing things. We end up getting this 500 error whenever we call to the, as it implies here, when it tries to get the list of the current, this says viewers, but it's actually the people in chat. So if someone's viewing and they have the chat closed, they won't actually be connected to the Twitch chat, and thus they won't be in the list. So we want to get some kind of a try-catch with a retry on here. I know someone in chat, might have been JD Phoenix, had talked about a solution we could use that I actually thought was a pretty good one. Talked about that in our Discord, which, by the way, if you don't know, our Discord is where anybody that is interested in talking more about code, any code, not just the stuff we do on stream, is welcome to join our Discord and chat with us. So, a DevChatter Discord, you might say. Okay, so I think we're going to tackle that one today. So I am going to actually toss the on-stream label on this one, because even though I put the help wanted, I think that's a good one to tackle today. So we'll do that one. And then the other one is a small one. It is the other issue that came up was a suggestion that we add the appvar status to the README. So in a lot of projects a lot of open source projects will list the status of a branch in the README file, so anybody that goes to that branch can just see what the status is at any given time, so they know, oh, this branch has passing tests, oh, this one's not building right now, and things like that. So it's a nice little indicator. And to show you what these end up looking like, does this page seriously not have... Oh, there they are. Okay. It must actually do the request. So if you've ever seen icons that look like this, things like this, before on a README page, that's all that's telling you is that the build server has confirmed that it's working. You find like these little badges for things like, you know, that it's passing its style cop stuff and things like that as well. Not just for builds, but like the build might be passing, tests are passing, and various other things like that. So they're fairly useful. So I think that's a really good suggestion, and that is actually a very good first contribution for someone to make. That is, I'm going to say code improvement, even though it's not really code, because it's not really a feature of the system. It's because it's kind of like infrastructure-y, so I'm going to give it that label. And I don't know if that's a feature request or not. But it's a good first one for someone to do. Okay, so I mentioned that we would be tackling the 500 error first. So let's go take a look at where that occurs. So we want to open up our Twitch project. So our Twitch project is where we keep all of our Twitch dependent code. So everything in this project that knows about Twitch is hidden away in here. And where we are going to find it is inside of the Twitch API. So I want to find where we used the Twitch API. So Twitch API, this is inside the follower service. Is it in here? User follows, nope. Was it the chat client? Did we get, we gave the chat client the API. It's in here. There it is, Twitch API.undocumented.getChatter async. Now, we did something horrible, which there is a task actually sitting out there to get rid of these things. So we are actually going to async all of our stuff at some point. There's a task to go back and do it. We just didn't because there's not really much need. Our program could be fairly synchronous, so it is. But we can just go and async all the things and it'll be nice. User Exertic. I apologize for butchering your name, but hopefully I got kind of close on that one. Hi, welcome. Hopefully you're having a good day. And here's what we're going to do. So I can go ahead and I'm going to... Whoa, look at what that is. That's a scary one. Chatter formatted, huh? Okay, so that is what we get. We get a list of these chatter formatted objects. And what we are going to do is this. I want to make sure that this actually does some kind of a retry. So, the first thing I can do is this. I can extract this as a task. Task 1 equals, yes, I know, I'm going to fix that name in a second. Just give me a second. Task 1. Alright. Technically, I can make this async. Whoops. Public async. Helps if you put it in the right spot, Brendan. And then I want to await task 1. Then I would have to do the screw it. We're not gonna do it. We're gonna delay that till later. Here's what we're gonna do. I want to take this integral e⁻⁴ to the x. Okay. Alright, so here's what we want to do. we need to wrap some kind of a try-catch around this thing. So I am going to, for now, whoops, what is it? Oh, right, I'm supposed to do this. It's this call, so I highlight it and I hit that. Try-catch finally? No. Catch, try-catch. There we go. I don't need a finally. Alright, so we want to do this, except that we want to use an exception filter on this, because we only want to get certain exceptions. And I'll explain why in a minute. So this was an interesting suggestion. I liked the solution that was made by JD Phoenix, who I mentioned is one of our regular viewers here and contributors, and discussed this idea, and I thought it was kind of a cool one. So we're going to use a when statement. If you haven't seen this, this is called an exception filter. This was added in C# version either 6 or 7, I forget which one, which is kind of bad that I don't remember that. So we're going to say when x is, and now we're going to make a new kind of exception here. So what I am going to do is I am going to create a folder of exceptions. Inside of our exceptions folder, I'm going to add a new class. This class is going to be called a retry exception. And a retry exception is an exception that we want to break out of our how to phrase this. We want to break out of our retry. We want to break out of our retrying, essentially, is the idea. So if the exception we threw is a retry exception, then that means we're done. And we're not gonna keep going, is the basic idea. So we're gonna make that an exception. We're gonna remove all the usings we're not using, and we're just gonna make this an exception type. Next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that this can hang on to its inner exception, because we don't want to lose that. So I am going to make a new constructor for this, and in the constructor I am going to call the base exception. I need to give it some kind of a message. Now I could put in something about the retry, but I don't really care, because the point here is when we throw the retry exception, that's when we're really done and we want to break the loop. So I'm going to put the actual inner exceptions message here. So this is going to take in, and I could just call it exception, but I want to call it inner exception here, just to make sure that it's really clear to anybody that reads this code that this is the inner exception. And I am going to say message, and then inner exception. So the idea here is that I've called the base exception constructor, passed in the inner exception message as the message for my exception, and then I put in the inner exception as the inner exception. Okay, so now that we have this, I want to use it over here. So I can put in my retry exception. So I want to say when x is not one of these. Now, in order to actually make this work, I need to wrap another set of parens around this, because I want to be super clear here that I want it to be when that is that. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So the idea is don't catch these exceptions. So allow retry exception to allow retry exceptions to go unhandled. So the idea is I want to catch all exceptions except one, so there's not, like, you can use type filters, but I want that one to just keep going. So the alternate way I could do this is I could have another catch and have it be the retry and have that one, you know, do an extra throw or something like this. But I think this works of, you know, just we're not catching it. Okay. So what we need to do now is actually I am going to reconnect these because I'm not doing anything weird with this just yet, so I'm going to reconnect these. We're going to get rid of that stupid task 1 thing that I wrote there, which is a terrible name, by the way. Don't write code like that. And I'm going to put this whole thing up here inside of that try catch. Ooh. Actually, that doesn't quite work right. I'm going to have to adjust that. Have you ever had the pleasure of working with WinForms? Haloja, yes, I have worked with WinForms. It's interesting. WinForms is not actually as bad as we like to say it is sometimes. So this is not quite going to work perfectly. I need to make an adjustment to it. So here's what we need. So we need to shift this down to here if we're going to make this work. And now chatters doesn't really exist because it needs to be up there. So I need to adjust how we do this. So I want to make this be a method that gets me back these values. So in order to do that, let's put all these back in here. And we're going to move this into a method, which I think I can do that. New method is going to be called do the thing, because I don't have a good name for it right now. So we're going to come down here. We want to return do the thing. So what I want to do is I need to make this be, I need to make a new method. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a change here. We're going to go over here. We're going to create a new class. We're going to call this the task extensions, because I want to make this public static class task extensions, public static async task of t. In this case, t is going to be our list of chatters. Retry Result t. So this is going to be how we get our task. So this task of, task of t. Let me fix my references here. We're going to add system threading, task, try result, there we go. Task this, we're going to call it task. Good job guessing the name there. I could pull out the we're going to say retries. Retry count. We'll go with that, and then we're going to have to maintain what our exception is that we've been working with. So essentially, if we throw an exception, we're going to need it. So when we throw the next exception, we can use this one as an inner exception. Okay, let's see. WinForms are certainly better than MFC or raw Win32. Yeah, Joe Bunn. I do know some people that have had to work with that, and this, I feel bad for them. I'm trying to figure out how to make use of an IOC container in WinForms MDI app, but everything seems so weird. Haloja, you should be able to use an IOC container for, like, within WinForms, but the way you're going to have to do it is you're going to need to call the IOC container to resolve types that you need, because it's not going to be built in to be able to have the constructor to be able to just, say, oh yeah, when it creates, different forms within it, right? It's not going to be able to wire those up with your dependencies automatically. Correct, Haloja. You're still going to need a service locator in order to make that work, is the idea. Okay. Retry count. We'll say 5 is a good retry count, and then our exception, I think we're going to want to default it to null, because we're not going to have an exception the first time we call this, because we won't have been throwing an exception. So now what I want to do is I want to do a try catch. So we're going to do an exception, ex, and instead of throwing in here, because, of course we were going to throw in there, what we're going to do is we're going to say if our, actually, let's jump back out. So that is going to be this code here. So this is what we're going to steal, actually, so I'm going to put it here. And instead of saying do the thing, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to say, first off, whenever you're writing anything, so this is going to be recursive. So whenever you're writing anything that's recursive or has any kind of infinite looping or anything like that, we all know that step 1 is short circuit. So it's time to short circuit things so we don't get screwed. And what we're going to do is we're going to say if retry count, is less than or equal to 0, then we want to throw a new retry exception. And our retry exception, we want to pass the current value of exception. So what that means is the most recent exception that we've done is going to go in here. And just as a safety, if someone was stupid and called this with a 0 and there was no exception, let's do this. So I'm going to go ahead and add that using, I'm going to jump over to retry exception. Just in case, I'm going to throw a little null conditional there, so it's going to not null reference exception when we try to create a retry exception, because boy would that be stupid. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, just in case someone was stupid and called this with a 0 value when they didn't mean to, we're not going to blow up on them, because, that would just be kind of stupid. Why would we blow up on them for doing that? So we won't. Okay. So then what we want to do next is we have our safety in place. So now we're allowed to write the recursion because we do have a safety. So what we want to do is this. I want to come down here into my catch block, and I want to say await, and I want to await a task.delay. And the reason I want to delay, remember, we're going to be doing a retry. There's no sense in retrying immediately, so we're going to pause for a second before we do this. And by a second, I mean we're going to pause for a half a second. So I want to pause for a half a second. So that's kind of like a thread.sleep, but in a way that lets the thread go. And so an await is kind of like, yeah, you can come back and finish later if you want. How come you're calling this try result and not something like try get result? We can't, yeah, well, there we go, try get result. Because naming is hard, Haloja. Alright, so we're going to call a result method, which is, it's dot result, it's not dot get result, but yeah, we can say try get and be getting the result. So either one works, it's not a huge difference. So now that we've waited for the half second, we can now do our retry. So essentially we're going to say try get result, pass in our task that we received, because we want to try it again. But this time we want to do retry -1. So that's our recursion safety. By reducing by 1 each time, eventually we're going to get down to 0 and be allowed to escape. And then we pass in the exception that we got here. So we caught an exception, we're going to pass it in here, so that's how a retry is going to work. Good thing you can do a wait in a catch handler. Yes, you can, Joe Bun. Yeah, and you're right. That is a brand new feature. A wait inside of a catch is actually very new. Yep, Joe Bun is correct. That is brand new to C#. Yes, Helosia. And the funny thing is, Helosia, I actually got really good at cache invalidation about a decade ago. I worked for a developer that I would describe as an expert in caching. He used to do a lot of talks on caching and was like the guy that everybody would call to interview about caching in like ASP.NET. And so I worked with him, and that meant that I actually learned about caching. So as far as I'm concerned, naming is much harder than cache invalidation. But that's only because I've got experience in cache invalidation. Good experience in cache invalidation, actually. Okay, so that's our retry. Right now, we're clearly not going to throw an exception, so this code doesn't really do anything yet. But what we need to do is we want to get that result. So since we called it result, we're trying to get result. I'm going to call it result. So that task we passed in, I'm going to say task.result. Now, I can actually, can I return await result? Do I need to result that? I think I might be able to get away with not resulting that. Welcome, Aribet. Hopefully I got that name right. That one actually doesn't seem that hard, but thank you for following. Welcome to DevChatter. Hopefully you are enjoying it. Okay, so the idea here is, oh, right, no, I need it to resolve in here. So I don't want to await this. That's why. Okay, yes, yep. My brain's working again, everybody. Brain's working. So what we want to do is this. We want to do a var result, and var result equals task.result. We want this to resolve here because we need to make sure that this exception gets caught here. And Janiscu, related to SignalR, I am really looking forward to 2.1 of ASP.NET Core, because when 2.1 drops, we are absolutely going to be taking a look at adding SignalR to a web front end to the bot. So that will be very fun. Return await, because we are staying async. Although now that I think about it, I could just, instead of returning a task, I could just return this. Helosia, you don't know what SignalR is? I can answer that question. If SignalR is basically, how would you describe it? It's, would you describe it as a library, a framework? SignalR is a tool for doing web communication that's like real-time. So, it's like a persistent connection to the server kind of thing. So think like a library for making it easy to use WebSockets that actually, when it came out, could fall back if someone didn't support WebSockets. So that was actually the really cool part from it. So, alright, so we're going to do that. Create. So that's, you know what? We don't have, we are not, well, no, because if we want to do that, then, because if I want to, yeah, okay, we're going to do that. All right, yep, we're going to do it. It's ugly, but it's going to make it work. David, you said Flower. His name's Fowler. David Fowler was in the stand-up, started an hour and a half ago. The ASP.NET community stand-up happened. Okay, so we're going to do this. So we're going to do a try get result on task, and let's see, retry exception. So that should work, and then we're saying we're going to throw a retry exception, which is the only one we're not going to catch here, which means that we won't catch the exception. We'll really throw that one, and that will get us out of here. So here is how we're going to test this. We want to test this, because not testing this would be crazy. So I'm going to put this up here for now. And what was our extension namespace? We want this. So I'm going to put this using up at the top. Using that. Sort it in. Now I'm going to come back down here. I don't need to do the thing anymore. And what we're going to say on this line is dot try. What? This is a task, right? Right? Task of T. Try get result and the task.result will block and then you await the result. Yeah, Joe Bund, that's just so that we can still be async in the other call to it. But you are correct. We will block on that, and the reason why is that we needed to complete inside. We wanted to complete nicely inside of there like that. I'll tell you what. I will switch that and do it the way I was originally intending to. Let's do this. So I couldn't remember if this was going to work or not. So let me show you what I was going to do but didn't. I was just going to return await task, and I don't know if that's going to work. We'll do it with a test first, and we'll find out. Yes, that is a hilarious statement there. You are right. All the angle brackets and everything like that do make it look advanced and complicated. It's actually not that complicated. It's pretty easy. And C# was sent from the future. Okay, so why doesn't it like my try get result here? I did say yeah, public static async task T. This task of T. Do I have to have that there? No. Okay. Task extensions dot try get result. Yeah, see? Public static class task extensions. Chat about infra Twitch extensions. Did I not add this? Oh, I added it and then immediately removed it. That's what happened. Dirt. It's right here. That's my bad. I did it, everybody. I did it. I did it. That was me. It's fixed. It's fixed. It's fixed. An async generic extension method is not the easiest thing to understand. Yeah, that's true, TwitchLoft. Try get result exists already on task. No, Joe Bun. It was me. It was me. So I happen to know that this is actually a lie here. So our retry account and everything, that stuff can all be false. So result. So that should get us our chatters. And welcome, it is due. Thank you for following. It didn't really distract me. So let's go ahead and close these out. We now have our task extension. We're going to go ahead and try this though, because we want to make sure that it really works. So what we're going to do is this. We are going to go over to core, and this is extensions, and this is task extensions. So we are going to go to add folder task extensions tests, and then I am going to add in a new item. It's going to be a class. It's going to be, whoops, I'm going to get this on my clipboard because that's going to make this nicer. Add new item. Someone's saying something in chat that I will read in a second. So let me go ahead and get this in place. So we're going to do a public class try get result should, and we're going to say return what should it do? It should do something. We're going to say that for now because I don't know what it should do. Once I figure out what it should do, then we'll know what it should do. So I need a task. So I need a task dot we're gonna task delay for 1 second. Try. Oh, wait, I need one that returns. So we're gonna make a method. Private async task of bool. And task of bool is going to be called test task. Okay, what did people say in chat? Just playing rock, paper, scissors? Alright, that's fine. Testing async, yeah, Helosia, I know, right? Testing async stuff. No, so luckily, guys, I don't actually have to test async because I can grab results. So we don't actually have, we're going to synchronize the test still. That we're not going to make the test async. That's going to be an annoying one. Okay. And yeah, I just make my tests public for some reason. You know, I don't think you really need to in most frameworks, but I do it anyway because I'm weird. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to say task.delay, and then we're going to delay for 500 milliseconds, because why not? And oh, how do I want to return a It's a completed task with a specified result. Okay, so we're going to run a task of bool. And then what we're going to do is we are going to have we're going to have a function inside here that is going to return a Boolean, right? Something like that. Since this is an async method, the return type must be of type bool rather than task of bool. Alright. Alright, now we're good. So now we actually have a test task that is going to return a Boolean, and it doesn't really do anything. So that's a task that doesn't have any problem. I usually test async stuff non-async, using a .result and a wait and a timeout, but yeah, exactly, Joe Bun. Yep. That's the idea. Okay, so now what I want to do is this. I want to test task dot dot try get result. Now I need to include that using statement up at the top, which is going to be this one. So we're going to say using that. And then here we want to declare a local variable. That's that, but we're actually going to just .result this thing because we don't need we don't actually need that to be async. We just want to make sure that that works. And so now when I run this, it should pass, which hopefully will confirm that our code actually just runs okay. Okay. So that's the standard scenario where everything works, nothing through an exception, and we expect that to happen. Okay, so we mentioned a moment ago that the only reason why I was able to await inside of a catch block is because I'm using modern version of C# that allows me to do that. So now we're going to have a test throwing task. And yeah, I know I haven't named my test yet, and the reason why is because my test is most likely going to be named based on the variance that I create from this one. So these two tests, the way that one differs from the other is how it's what's going to help me get a good name for it. So we're going to call test throwing task. Now I want to do this. So first off, I want to say result.should. We're going to grab fluent assertions, and then I'm going to say be true, right? Because we're calling a method that returns true, so this is just going to confirm that it really did get the value and everything worked, right? Now, I don't remember. I guess I could wrap this in a try catch block, and because I don't remember. Anybody remember how to expect an exception in XUnit? Because I don't remember. Async looks like one-on-one Emacs script, ECMAScript. So it is due. There's a reason for that. The one that they put in there, I believe, was modeled after this one. So I think that async await was modeled after this one. And you can run on top of tested code functions, but not really running in any other thread and fakes. But that some of the tests not yield those functions. Yeah. We're just doing a simple thing here, so we'll see how this goes. So I am going to grab a bool equals bool exception thrown equals false. Exception thrown equals true, and assert exception thrown dot should be true. I'm gonna do that, and actually, this exception should be a retry exception. Because we know that that's what it's going to be, and ex.innerException should not be null. Not be null. Developers. And welcome to everybody that was in C# Fritz's chat, who is, you are all now at DevChatter, so hopefully you are all having a fantastic Tuesday. We are writing more code here. Plenty of C# code, always a good time. Assert.throws. Thank you. There it is. I knew there was a way to do that in XUnit. I just couldn't remember what their syntax was. Assert throws, and I want to have throws a retry exception. And then inside of that, we are going to have a function, I'm sure, an action. And our action is going to be that code that we're calling right down here. So that'll be this one. So we want to assert that it throws one of those. And does this have an overload? Okay, we'll store the value. Don't yell at us. Nope. Not an overload we want to use, at least. Alright. So we'll do that. Assert throws a retry exception. That should throw a retry exception. It will not right now, keep in mind, because we haven't made it do that yet. Our throw exception isn't actually throwing yet. Okay, so this went red because it didn't actually throw when we look at that. We expected it to throw. Actual no exception was thrown. Okay, that's because this isn't throwing. But if we do a throw new it shouldn't matter what it is. So I'll just do a throw new exception and say, "Hi everybody," as our message in that exception. Cannot convert a void to a bool. Because I need to do this. That's why. Oh, whoops. Task of bool. Run. Helps if you put it in the right spot, Brendan. Okay, there we go. Joma, it is due. Is this project repositoried? Yeah, so everything we do in here is out on GitHub. Action comparison, compare should throw exception. Oh, really? There you go. Well, that's a cool one. Yeah, I like that. Action equals action. And then we can say, using fluent assertions, which is what was just mentioned in here, action dot should throw a retry exception. And was there anything we could say about it? Just to because. Okay. Alright, so now we've got that, and then this representative can I Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this an action of bool. Of bool. Action equals that. Oh, sorry. Function. Function of bool. Which we're going to rename to func, because now it has the correct type. So the problem is this. I made that a task of bool, and even though I made it a task of bool, so that was the correct type, the boolean, the run itself was looking at my func and saying, "Oh wait, that's a void func," because it can't implicitly determine a type based on this. So I needed to explicitly give it that type. Okay, so now we test throwing a task, and now it should actually throw an exception. So let's go ahead and run these this time and see what we get. And they both pass. The question I then have is, how many times did this run? which I kind of want to see that happen just because I think it'll be an interesting exercise in this. So let's go ahead and debug this one. So let's take a look. I think it'll be pretty cool. Debug. Hi, everybody. Oh, cool. So retry count is 5. So we caught an exception, and true here means that it's not a retry exception. It means it's some other type. So we're going to wait for half a second, and we're going to try again. And then we're going to try again, and you'll notice that our retry count, if you're watching this variable up here, is decrementing each time we go through here. And we come back again, now we're at 2. Now we're at 1. And the reason this needed to be async is because we want to be able to await that result. Which we don't really have to. We could have just returned and made it synchronous, but now we're at 0, so now we're going to throw the retry exception. Now this is false. And the test passes. So there we go. Cool. Our code works exactly as we wanted it to, so that is fan-freaking-tastic. That is wonderful. Alright, so I'm going to make a commit of this, and then we're going to actually use the code. Defezzer, that is actually an extension that we have installed that is showing that one, and I will tell you about that in a second. So, let's call this catch chatters API exception. So we're doing this branch to catch a specific exception that's getting thrown on us. So this is create a task catching retry extension. Okay. Yeah, so that is actually coming from CodeRush. Is actually what was doing all those little bits of like showing us what the values were as we were stepping through. So I have now been running CodeRush for about I don't know what, a week-ish now. Yeah, this is Tuesday. I installed it last week on Monday. That was Saturday. Either way, I've been running a little over a week, and it's an interesting one. We decided to give it a try because some people talked about it and said that it was an interesting one, so we said, we contacted Mark Miller, who is a DevExpress employee. DevExpress makes CodeRush. Both asked him if he would toss me a license so we could try it on stream, and then also asked him if he would give us sort of a demo to teach us how to use it. And he did that for us last Wednesday, so if you check our video archives, you can see a video where Mark showed us how to use CodeRush, and it was very enlightening. It's all about like templates and things like that to try and speed you up, hence the name CodeRush. It's less of a refactoring tool like what ReSharper is. So I figured I'd give it a try for a couple of weeks, might go back to ReSharper. I'm very used to it. I've used ReSharper since like 2007-ish, 2008, around then, so about a decade. And I can tell you I'm very dependent on having tools that can do all the refactorings and things for me. And I actually think it's a good thing, because you do want to lean on the tools that you have available to you. But I also think it's important to know how to do things without using those tools. So let's go ahead and grab that using statement. We're going to hop over to our Twitch client again. I am going to make this an async method, and oh, you know what? We're not going to... No, this is not going to be async. We're not going to do it. We're just going to toss this right on this, because this is a task. So we're going to say using that. Oh, we already had that one. Okay, cool. So get all chatters, and then instead of result, we're going to say try get result. Oh, I already had try get result on here. Did I already do this? I already did it. That's funny. I already did it. Yeah. Alright, well. No, I embrace the... So first off, am I a hardware nerd as well? Depends on what you mean by hardware nerd. Boy, I wish I knew more about some of the hardware that I want to use. Yes, I am a lot of different types of nerd. I am a big fan of being a nerd and proud of it, and I hope everyone else here in chat is a proud nerd as well, because it is quite fun. I enjoy all of our nerdy endeavors and discussions, and I would not be able to enjoy those if I was not all about, you know, being a nerd. So I think I actually committed that code without realizing that I had already done it. So yeah, I already did it. It was in the last one. Okay, so in theory now, when we call get all chatters, it should run without error. So wish there was a way that I could test that. Well, either way, I'm going to go ahead and run it. Sorry, Janiscu, the bot left the building. And actually, something else that I haven't done that I need to do. We don't have any logging in the bot right now. That needs to get to the front of this. Begin loop, use task.delay instead of... Oh, yeah, we should totally do that, Twitchloff. I was not aware that we still had that in there. But yeah, we totally could. So, why don't you send us a pull request for that one, Twitchloff, and we'll get that in there. Okay, so, I'll call this cleanup usings. We're going to go ahead and push those changes up to the server. And the bot is running. I believe we now will dodge the exception, but I want to get it logged. I don't like the fact that we don't log it. That probably is the doctor, but I'm not 100%, but welcome either way. Thanks for following. And if that's Deducator, I apologize for butchering your name. Just taking guesses here, but thank you for following either way. Hopefully you're having fun at DevChatter. Can the HTTP client's HTTP handler inside of the Twitch API be replaced for testing? Can the HTTP client in the... that is a good question. I don't know if the Twitch API call that we make, if that in TwitchLib has a way of getting that off there. Twitchloff. Yeah, Twitchloff. Well, are you that's a very good question then. Are you entertained? That is a very good question. Here's what we're going to do to answer that question. We're going to head over to TwitchLib. We're going to take a look in the Twitch API, because we should look at that. And we are wondering about the Twitch API, which has iHTTP call handler. And where does this come from? This gets passed in. So yes, if we pass in a mock HTTP handler, we can test this without allowing it to go out to the HTTP client. So you are completely correct, Joe Bun. We could, in fact, do a test that calls out to this one specifically and confirms that it doesn't throw using our code. So here's what we're going to do, because I like that idea of making sure the Twitch API really works the way that we think it should. So I am going to make a new folder here and I'm going to call it twitchlib tests. And it's kind of weird to be testing the thing that we're calling, but we're not really testing it. We're testing our retry logic for if it throws an exception, just to make sure that it works. So here's what we're going to do. Twitch API undocumented, Twitch API undocumented chatters. I'm going to make a folder, actually, with this name. So we're going to do that, and then inside of that we're going to make a new class, and this is going to be called... where did we call it? Get all chatters. So get chatters async. So get chatters async should helps if you put a space there. Be able to use our retry logic. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to jump over here. I am going to grab that. We're going to make a using statement out of it. Using that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say new Twitch API. Where's our Twitch API? We're going to say this API equals new. We're going to include that using twitchlib, Twitch API. And then in this, we're going to say, where is it? Really? I thought we just looked. Maybe that's new. I'm on an old version. Public Twitch API. That constructor is not there for me. Okay, all right, guys. I can't get it because we need to update to a new version of the Twitch API. I'm betting the twitchlib project. I am betting. Let's take a look at the history on this. Yep. I'm betting that this got changed recently. Where is this? Right here. Yep, this was edited recently. So we're just jumping back through versions, which I don't know if you guys knew you could do this. So we're now 2 months ago, and boom, it's not there. Okay, so there's the time frame. This is shortly after we installed twitchlib. It picked up the constructor. So there you go. So confirmed, we can't do that just yet. Yep. Yeah, so we will get that sometime soon. I will not add this test just yet, so let's go ahead and we're going to nuke this for now. We'll add it later once we can do that. On our backlog is actually a task to update to the latest version of twitchlib. We need to do that at some point, but it's not pressing because it's not like it's been deprecated or anything. It's talking to the same Twitch API. The Twitch API hasn't significantly changed in that time frame, especially for the mature version of the API that we're using already. This is catch undocumented Twitch API exception. This fixes number Twitch wrap the dreaded 500 error. There it is. Fixes by using a try, catch, and retry. Oh man, Twitchloff, you sent a huge PR? Oh geez, I'm gonna take a look at that. There we go. Okay, so switch from a thread sleep to a task.delay. which does basically the same thing. Basically. Achieves the same result, that's for sure. Okay. So, I am going to approve that change. We're not going to commit it just yet. And then over here... Oh, it's done. It did build. All right, cool. We'll merge that PR in. Oh, it does. Can I actually revert that? Nope, I can't revert it easily. Yeah, did I miss that we didn't have an await on it? Okay, well, we just need an await on it then. Thanks, Jobun. Jobun, toss us a PR then. Or wait for Twitchloft to fix it. Yeah, Crimson, we summoned the ban hammer. That's what we did. We were like, we need Crimson here to ban hammer everyone. That is a joke because in the last stream, Crimson Green accidentally banned someone that he did not intend to ban. So we had to apologize a little bit. Oh yeah, Jobun, you're not. Yeah, Jobun, what is this keyboard and mouse of which you speak, Jobun? I know not this computer machine. What it is? Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of those because what are you doing, Brendan? What are you doing? First thing I need to do is get myself a Git shell. So anybody that's wondering, we run GitHub Desktop. Here is actually the tool that you see on screen there. And that's actually what that is. I'm usually a command line guy, but for the sake of the DevChatter stream, I will actually do a fair amount using the GitHub Desktop client because it's visual, gives you guys a nice look at everything I'm doing and makes it a little easier. But occasionally I jump over to the command line, so don't kill me for command lining every once in a while. I mostly just want you guys to be able to see what's going on. So I just did that because I can do a quick stash. Oh, really? Really? That it thought was. Are you kidding me? Did I not have that? Hang on. Hey, Swifty Spiffy, there he is. We were just talking about you. We weren't really talking about you, I was kidding. Really? Why is it, I didn't think that's what I did. Don't I have the... Okay, alright, that's fine. I will remake the change. I will remake the change. Stop getting mad at me. What? Oh, I didn't merge it. Oh, I didn't merge it. Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't actually merge it yet, guys. Yeah, that, no, yeah. Yeah. I'll just sit here for a minute and just spam my game over button. Anyway, let's go ahead and actually wait for this one to resolve. We'll go ahead and merge it in, and then we'll be good. What do we got here? I was doing a hard reset. Yes, I was. And Twitchloff sent a new PR. Awesome. Thank you, Twitchloff. And are you a contractor, or is this just a side thing? Really glad I found a mentor in C#. I need to maintain an abandoned program. This is a side thing. It is due. I do DevChatter on the side. Locomoco 2000, welcome, thanks for following. So I do DevChatter on the side. I am an independent contractor, and technically anybody can hire me to do mentoring for your team, so I can actually pair program with people on their actual projects. I also do some training workshops with different teams, and I also do custom software development and maintenance of existing projects for some clients. So that's what I do when I'm not here. And then I also do training stuff with a company called DevIQ. And so deviq.com, you'll find me here on DevChatter also. Let's see, what else did you say? Amazing possibilities, again. I might be messing up their names. I went as far as piping it to C and then AHK instead of just learning C#. Yeah, a lot of times C# is just a very nice language for a lot of things. There are places where C#'s not a good language, but if you're doing any kind of application development or anything like that, C# is a very good language to be working in. There we go. So now this is passed. I'm going to look at these changes again. I'm going to merge them in. And actually, I want to do a quick edit of this. I am going to nuke these comments because I can, and it's going to want to rebuild this. So I'm wishing I'd done this before it finished building. Move wrong, old comments. Commit directly to that branch. There we go. All right. Don't know if you guys knew you could do that. Alright, so ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, it is time to click on some buttons. This one I think is actually now going to be the one that finishes first, but we'll wait. Because I'd like to send this one in, I'd like to send both of these in and get us moving forward. But while those are going, let's take a look over here. This should have gotten an association with that, and because I mentioned here, so I want to make sure I'm clear to everybody. So I wrote in the name of this pull request. For anybody that doesn't know, I put in fixes and then the number. By doing that, that actually you'll notice it's underlining it. There's something special going on here. And you'll see it says this pull request closes issue number 156. So when I complete this pull request, it will also automatically close that issue for me because I wrote that in there. And this change should just be to add an async and await on those. And yeah, cool. Async, await, approve, merge. So I can merge automatically without actually updating because there were no differences there, so I'm going to send that in. Helloja, what kind of companies do I work for, and do I prefer a specific domain? So I've worked for a variety of different companies. I've worked for some of the largest companies in the world. We're talking you know, top 10 companies in terms of revenue and things like that. I've worked for. I've done contracting work for Microsoft before in multiple different capacities. I've worked in the advertising industry. I've worked in finance. I've worked in e-commerce. I've done work with content management systems. I've worked for component vendors. You name a domain, I've probably worked there at some point. I've worked in education. I've worked I have been consulting for the majority of my development career. So let's just say I've written code for everything at this point, as many of us have. A lot of developers have gotten around to plenty of different industries. A few that I like specifically, I actually like advertising, surprisingly, because of the really interesting challenges that you get in that one. That's one of the ones I like best. Online advertising has some really interesting challenges within that domain, because online advertising has a lot of performance stuff. You need to respond really quickly. You need to, and you need very intelligent decision making and logic. Advertising also deals a lot with money because you're needing to target ads to specific things based on trying to optimize all kinds of different things at the same time. This branch is out of date. I could click this button, but I'm really tempted to just merge it. So normally I would just put up the no peeking screen and just say like, yeah, you guys didn't see a thing. But no, we're gonna be good, upstanding developers and do it right. So funny thing, I actually was working one time on a project. I was working for a consulting firm at the time, and I was working for a client. I was actually the only dev in the company that was actually writing any code for that client. And I surprised everyone because I was actually very careful about all of my branches and everything. So everything I did was in a feature branch. Everything was done exactly the way you would want it to be done in terms of branching and Git and everything like that. And so I think I surprised a lot of people because they were like, "What? You're really doing that? Like, you're the only guy, though." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, it offers me so many benefits if I." Actually, like, there's a reason we have teams work this way. There's things like, if someone changes my priority and we have like a super critical bug come in, I can just jump over to that. We are waiting for a second for that to complete, so I'm going to play a game of Hangman while we do this. And actually, while we wait, let's do this. Words. So we're going to make a new branch, Hangman Words, off of this, while we wait, because we can do it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up commands, and I'm going to create operations. And I know we need to really get some of these operations down so that we actually have some better defaults here. But we have there's a generic delete, which I think we can reuse, now that I think about it. So we're going to go over to the Hangman command. I'm doing feature branches and merge squash even though I'm a one-man team. Exactly, Joban. And there's a lot of value in doing that. Looks like the PR branch passed, so I am going to merge this in. So let's go ahead and confirm that merge, and then actually, before we continue on this, I'm going to rebase this branch that I'm on. So that is in there, and Pritchett bots, I'm gonna delay merging that in just for now. Here's what I want to do with this. I am going to come over here. We're going to do a git status. I'm going to check out master, and then I'm going to do a git pull because I want to get that change that's in there. And then once I've done my pull, I'm going to git check out Benrick and say Benrick, yeah, Hangman again. And then once I'm here, I'm going to do a git rebase on master. And then, now I've got this, so I want to go over to our Hangman command, and I am going to find that by going to the Hangman command. So here in Hangman command, you'll see that we don't yet have operations. But what I'm going to do is steal that from over here. So we're going to steal the concept of having operations, and I'm going to bring it right over here. I am not going to have an add quote operation. I am going to use a generic delete operation. So we're going to include that. Our generic is going to come in here, repository mod. We're not going to do a quote entity policy. We are going to have a command. So this is how we find it, right? So that is our spec function. And this was using by quote ID. So we're going to say, let me put this back because I want to get the, okay. I want to grab the using statement for that, so I want the specifications using there. Command word policy dot by word. No, not command word. Why did I say command word? Hangman. So this is a... We don't have this one yet, Brendan. That's why there's the weird part. We need to make it. So we're going to do this. Public class hangman word policy is a data item policy of hangman word. Anything going on in chat other than some games of Hangman? Looks like just Hangman. Good luck, everybody. We're gonna implement. Nope. What? iDisposable. What? Why would I possibly want that? Maybe some kind of fruit. A citrus fruit. Got any generic advice for university students struggling through the web course? Bubs TV. I guess the simple advice that I would give would be to keep at it. Program a thing on the side. Make your own web stuff. If there's a specific thing you're struggling with, I could maybe give you advice. If it's understanding the DOM or CSS or JavaScript is confusing, we could help give some direction on that. But without knowing specifically what it is that you're struggling with, it's kind of tough. But I will tell you, it's a lot of this is easier than you think it is. I don't want to say it's easy. I don't know Polymer. Web Dev Polymer. I don't know it. Is it this one? Interesting. I assume this is the one you're talking about, and I don't know it. But with all those kinds of things, there are plenty of good libraries for them. Okay, so we got that. I don't want to by quote ID, I want a by word, but we're still going to steal this static. So it is going to be that and that. So we're going to say new that, and instead of by this, we're going to do by word. And this, instead of being that, is going to be a string. And it's no longer quote ID, it's now word. So yeah, the best advice I could give Bubs TV is basically just do stuff on the side. See if you can find any videos specifically about it. If there's something that that is specifically confusing or difficult about it, just try and tackle that. I mean, that's part of the reason why people are here watching DevChatter, is just to see how I approach and solve various problems. And it gives a lot of people also the opportunity to try some of these things themselves. So, now when I come back here, whoops, we do want generic list. So now, instead of this, I want to do a hangman word policy. And, whoop, did I call it by quote ID? Holy cow. By word. So we're going to say by word. And then we're going to say element at or default 1. And then that's just going to be the word. Cannot convert lambda expression to intended. What type is it expecting? This wants to have an I specification of of quote entity. Duh. My bad. Now it's fixed. There we go. Get the right type there, Brendan. Alright, cool. Web dev is a giant mess of that libraries. Yeah, so Joe Budden's right. That's part of the challenge, is that a lot of us haven't worked with any framework because there's too many of them. Bird is the word. It's not too intuitive for a startup developer. It's client-side tool, but we are having the same time. Yeah, so interesting thing is that I don't really feel like JavaScript is a great starting point for learning software development. Now, I will say that I used JavaScript in the mid-90s, and it was total garbage then. Compared to what it is now, it is for as much as we complain about. And thank you for the follow, Bubs TV. For as much as we complain about libraries changing all the time, JavaScript is way, way better than it was. I don't actually think JavaScript is a great language for someone to start off learning development because, well, maybe if they're doing Node, but I don't feel like web dev is really the best place to start. Just because it is a little weird, the disconnected communication client-server approach that you get out of web development, I don't think that's a good spot for a starting developer to learn. But it's not the worst either. So you can learn quite a bit, and I am really always glad to see new developers learning new things. So, we don't have a generic add yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new add hangman word class, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to go ahead and do a copy there, and then I am going to go ahead and rename this and say add hangman word operation, and this one is going to need to move elsewhere, so I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to take it over to Games Hangman. We're going to put it over with the rest of Hangman, because this one is specific to Hangman. So, whoops. There we go. Put that as the new name. It is a base command operation. It is going to use the word add. And then we are going to say use Hangman add old command. Add word to add, and now I'm gonna escape word as a new word. Alright, there we go. Try to execute. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say so the first element, so at element index 0 was add. The second thing is the word we're adding. And then the rest of this we don't need in this one. So now we're going to say if that is null or empty, please specify, well, actually, you know what? We're just going to return back the help text. Return the help text. Now I want to check and see if the word already exists. So what I'm going to do is say underscore repository single, and we're going to say a single, and we're going to call it a hangman word policy by word. And we're going to use word. And then this, we are going to existing word. So if that is not null, the word, and I'm going to say Mac, because I like double quotes. I like double quotes. They look nicer. Existing word already exists. In the Hangman database. Okay, so now we're past that. What we want to do instead is we want to create a Hangman word. And actually, that should have been Hangman word, existing word.word. So new Hangman word. So this is new word. So we're going to do a rename of that, and then we're going to do this. Word equals word. And then we don't need to set ID. So that is literally all we do for creating this. Wait, do I have a, is it a constructor for it? Word. That's what I meant to do. That's the one. That's the ticket. Someone's saying something in chat, and I will respond to you in a second, chatter. So we're going to say repository create new hangman word. Created, we're going to say added, added. And I'm going to say that. So we're going to say word to the hangman dictionary. Okay, there we go. Alright, what happened in chat? Anything interesting? Bubs TV, if you're still here, have a good one. And you're welcome. Let's see. People starting hangman game, people starting rock, paper, scissors. Wheel spin, you can start the hangman game. Alright, so now we should have, once I add this in, the ability to do this. New hangman operation using the repository. There we go. Did base command operation give us the restriction based on user type? No. So we're going to do this. Oh yeah, no problem, Async awake. See ya. Take care. Wheel spin, what did I do here? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're getting the, yeah. Yeah, there's a cooldown now on Hangman games, yeah. So what people didn't see is Wheelspin gets a direct message from the bot telling him that there's a cooldown in effect, and he's got to wait an amount of time before he can use the Hangman command to start another game of Hangman. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to say if eventargs.chatUser.canRun command, and we're going to say not canRun command taking a bot command, but role.mod. So we're going to require that it's mod or more. So we're going to say if you cannot run this command, then we're going to say return only so we're going to say $sorry eventargs.chatUser.displayName. Sorry, so-and-so, only only mods can add new words. Alright, so there we go. Yeah. Janisku, so a subscriber can start a game of Hangman, but a moderator can skip the cooldown, is the way that it works. So yeah, for that one. So Joe Bun, you're correct. I should change this one. And the way that I can change it is by renaming this one. So I'll get that fixed by renaming this. So you are correct. We should get that fixed. We have a bad name there. You are right, Joe Bun. Okay. we should now be able to add new words, assuming I didn't mess up any of this code. So let's go ahead and stop the bot. So yeah, our bot just runs as a console application because we put all of our configuration for the bot inside of chat, which is kind of cool, but it does mean that we don't need a UI just yet. So we're going to build a UI, but we don't. It's not super critical to have one already. Would be cool to have an attribute for us, the can user run check. Twitch Love, yeah. If people want to do these things, you guys are more than welcome to add them. And yeah, make a suggestion on the issue list, and we might tackle that too. Okay, so I wanted to do hm add, and then what's a word that we might want to add to the Hangman game? Oh, right. I didn't actually make that happen. Sorry, that's my bad. We didn't actually wire it up. So I added these operations, but I didn't actually do anything with it yet. So what I meant to do was go in and steal, where is it? Operation to use. So I'm going to hop over to the Hangman command. And then inside of the Hangman command, we need to do this. Wait. Single file lock. Oh, right. Yeah. I have to start a game, ask about a letter, guess a word. I don't need to do that for this one. So, we don't need to call that. We do want to send a message as a result, try to execute operation based on that, should execute, and our operation is going to be argument 1. So if argument 1 matches this, are there any books on software development you consider must read? Haloja, there are a number of books on software development that I consider to be must read, that I do think every developer should read. And certain ones, I think they should read at certain points in their career and experience level. I should specify. There are a number of books that I don't think people should read at the beginning of their career. There are some that I think they should read towards the middle. So once you've got, say, and middle is relative here. I mean, like, you know, after you've been coding for like 5 to 10 years, you should probably read this book, and then, you know, other things like that. There are different books I think people should read at different points. Okay, so before I get to that, though, let me go ahead and do this. And we're going to call this game playing handle game playing requests. Public void handle game playing requests. And we pass in chat client and argument 1. So, argument 1 and chat user, and chat client. And so now we can pass argument 1, chat user, and chat client. There we go. So now we have a method that just deals with those ones, and a method that deals with everything else. I like it. Not bad. Code's not terrible. I have not read John Skeet's books, but I know a little bit. I know enough about them to know that they are good. You were wondering about books that I'd recommend, so I will go ahead and answer that by doing something that I probably should have done before. Dashboard, extensions, hang on. Extensions, click, go, come on. There we go. Live, and then here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna jump over to the channel, and I will add a panel on here of books that I would recommend. Oops. Edit the panel. Ah, no. Misclick. Sorry, guys. Taking 1 second longer than I intended to. Did that actually add? I think that might have added. What? Okay, well, in theory now, there should be a recommended reading list that I don't know why it didn't appear correctly, at least when I loaded it. But I was trying to connect it to. But I had one that was basically set up before, and that's why I was just going to go turn it on. But in Twitch, I put a recommended reading list on there, so if you are interested, you can check that out. And are you kidding me? Bot just crashed. What did it crash on? Second operation started on this context before a previous operation. Any instance members are not guaranteed to be thread safe. Oh. Wow, I screwed something up. Well, that's fun. Huh. I'm actually going to have to figure out what that one was. But for now, I'm just going to restart the bot. So, let's see. Skeet, yeah. C# and devs is not, Skeet. CMD, add, Skeet, everyone, expecting a list of, John Skeet jokes. This isn't, C# Fritz channel. Alright, there you go, everybody. We now have a Skeet command. There you go. Oh, good old PogCham. Alright, so there we go. So now, I want to confirm that my code at least did work the time that we ran it, so I'm going to open up the database real quickly. We're going to pull up the DevChatter bots database, and we're going to take a look inside of the Hangman word list. We're going to view the data. Are you parameter, blah, 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 blah. Nope. So we're not running it yet. The bot just started up, so let's go ahead and do add. So we're going to do a Hangman add. And then the word that we want to add is I didn't check something. Thanks, Joe Bun. Thanks, Joe. You made it work. All right, so we're bombing somewhere. Let's go take a look at where that bomb is actually happening. Where did we null ref? We did a singular default on the. Oh, you know what I bet we did? I bet I know what we did. Single, Hangman policy, byword, existing word. Okay, so Hangman command line 45 calls what? Hangman command line 45, operation singular default, should execute on argument 1. And then that called, so that was this one. Yeah, Haloja, I need to mess with that. I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but I'll get that list there sometime soon. So this is another instance of, I'm worried it's the X that's null, which I'm confused by, because I don't know how we would have a null in there, but something's null somewhere, so this again is why I really hate the fact that the null reference exception in C# will not just tell me what's null. Rah! Maybe I shouldn't be mad, maybe I should be sad. I should be like how long have I been writing code and I just don't know what's null. I can't tell what's null. If I knew what was null, I could solve the problem. That was a joke, guys. Alright, so we come in here. Argument 1 is add. That's what we expect. What was null? Dang it. HM add DevChatter. And operations is null. Oh! Well, that was dumb. Operations? That was dumb. That was dumb. I don't know why that was. Well, yeah. So about that, about actually running your code correctly, it's very important. HM add DevChatter. Added DevChatter. Alright, HM add programming. HM add what would be a good word? Ruby. HM add Visual Studio. HM add so we did null reference exception, so that was horrible. Did we do Stack Overflow? HM add what's another good word? We're going to surprise some of the people that haven't been here for a while. We're going to add HM add Anybody got any good words? We did foods before, like grapefruit. We could do grapefruit. We did pizza, we have pasta, we don't have tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. Oh yeah, we could do names of cats. Like, we could do Jolie. We could do HM add. There we go. HM add. HM add. And really, we just need various words so that people don't repeat them all the time. Any other programming things we should have in here? Oh, here we go. Someone's gonna kill me for that one. They're so similar too. So X unit, N unit, J unit, MS test, HM add, Team City, HM add ReSharper, HM add Code Rush, Hey! Thank you, Coated Beard. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Please enjoy your DevChatter hype emote. A little dinosaur with his hype sign that he holds up with his little grabbers. Okay, so now let's start up a Hangman game. Hype! I love that little guy. Yeah, so if we ever get partnered on this channel, which requires that we average 75 viewers over the course of a 30-day time period, that's the requirement we have to hit according to Twitch, they actually will unlock a whole bunch of extra emotes, and yeah, Helosia, he has little grabbers because he's got short arms, he can't hold the sign up. So that's the joke with the little dinosaur, because he's got short arms. So that's why he's got low grabbers. So I have plans. The designer that did that little emote for us, we will be, like, if we ever get to that point where we have unlock additional emotes, I have a number of different things that will be fun that we'll get in there as well. That should be really interesting stuff. So I have been talking with him about that. So let's go ahead and make this Hangman Words branch exist. And we're going to say add and remove Hangman Words. And before we do that, I'm going to give this one little test. HM add remove this. Okay, cool. Alright, and since it let me add it again, that's what makes me think it really did get rid of it. Alright, so we can add and delete words. Add and remove Hangman Words. There we go. And what did you get? What's our word? Janiscu? Let's find out. Whoa, what is... EA? What starts with EA? I don't actually know what our word is. Wait. T? Team City! Right! Yeah, we did Team City! Hey, cool! And it pulled one of the new words also. So very nice. See? New words are already in the list. So fantastic. Good job, Helosia. You got that one. Let's go ahead and I'm going to bring back up GitHub. Pop that on screen. And let's go ahead and do a... Alright, what do we have in here? Wait, was this created by me? Whoops. Yeah, this is the one I created. I need to nuke that branch. I don't want that. Delete that. And then this one needs to get pull requested in. So add and remove Hangman Words. Sounds good. I don't remember if we had an issue for this or not. And Twitchloff, I am going to read your message in a second, but I see that you said for logging, and so I totally approve, because we do need to get logging in here. I think that's been one of the issues we've had sitting around in our issues list, so our to-do list essentially, for quite a while. So we will take a look for that. Nope, no Hangman Words. Log. So add basic, I said error logging, but really, and then there's add informational logging. So we do have some things about that we're going to want to get in there. Hey, my other cat's here. You guys haven't met this cat. She's the sweet cat. She's not the one that I expect to climb my leg or ruin my green screen. Okay, so we have this pull request in. Once that one goes, we'll go ahead and merge it. So for now, let's get status, get checkout master, and then as soon as we've got that, we're going to do a pull, and then we'll get that change once it merges in. So this one, okay, so it did the branch first. So here's the problem. In AppVeyor, I have it set up both to build my branches in case I have a branch that's going to sit around for a little while. I want to be able to see whether or not it's working or not. And so I want AppVeyor to do a build of it. The problem is, then sometimes when I just want to do the PR, I want it to prioritize that one and do the PR build first, if it can. So either way, that's one of the challenges we run into. Not going to complain too much because AppVeyor is, not charging us anything for these builds, so that's very nice of them. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on, finish, finish. As we devs wait for the stupid build to finish. Hello, miss. You're moving my green screen a little bit. I don't know where she went. She can walk under the green screen because it's actually, it's like way up here. I can't even reach the top of my green screen. And I apologize for blinding you guys with my white arm. It hasn't seen the sun in 10 years. I was kidding. I have seen the sun more recently than that. Okay, so for logging, maybe just use the iLogger interface in Microsoft Extensions logging and later inject a logger. Not done this myself, but just a suggestion. Twitchloft, yeah, that's the idea, is we're just going to use an iLogger interface. We can use the Microsoft Extensions logging, or we can use another one. Doesn't really make a huge difference. One of the seems there's an artificial delay on free AppVeyor, but I guess that is to be expected. Yeah, exactly. It's free, so it's hard to complain too much. Because, they're not charging us for it. So, and, there we go. Merged in, so now when I hop over into the Git shell, I should be able to pull down the latest from master, and then we're good. So now when I reload this, there we go. We got our code back. Okay. So now that we've got that, let's, at some point we need to finish up the caching that we were doing before, but I want to get some of that logging in place. So let's go ahead and do exactly what Twitchloft was suggesting. And I think I want to put it in utility for now, because maybe logging will break out somewhere else, but a lot of times projects ends up with these types of things. I'm going to call it logger thing for now, because I don't have a good name for it. You know what I just realized? Did I fix that? Okay, yeah, I did. Alright. And yes, logger thing is the name because I haven't named it yet, and I'm unlikely to commit it as logger thing. And if I do check this in as logger thing, you guys are going to yell at me. So that's why it's called logger thing, is because I don't know what the name is yet. So don't let me do it. Alright, so let's go ahead and make logger thing an iLogger. Let's see if it pulls it in. Extensions, there we go. So we have iLogger. Let's go ahead and implement the interface. No, that's not actually the worst logging interface I've ever seen. Oh, I still have time. There, I'm in the rock, paper, scissors game, guys. What was he? He got paper, so I went in as rock. We're good. Begin scope. Cool. Alright, guys, this is stupid. Logging in .NET Core. Someone just give me an implementation to copy and paste. Configure logging, add console. Yeah, see, that's what I want to do. iLogger factory, create logger. For that thing, that's not what we're doing. We're not building it like that because we're not setting these up this way. You know, just... Isn't there just a nice, like, here, just grab this and use it? Don't they just have a console logger that I can just use, that I don't have to actually write my own? Because I've written these things a million times and they're kind of annoying. Configure logging.add console. Yeah, I was just hoping that there'd just be like they would just have it done for me already, and I wouldn't actually have to write this stupid thing, including that piece. So, because I don't want to actually get into writing all of that today. Okay, so I'm not going to write this one today. That is going to be a pain in the rear. That'll be another thing for another day. We won't get to logging just yet. Oh, is it? You say it's a thing already. Well, let's find out. New item. Class 1. You think they already have this one? Public void method 1. So let's go ahead and take a look. You think they have one of these? Nope. New one of these. Oh, okay, Joe Budden. They have one in its package that I could go get. So, I'm assuming then if I hop over here and I look for logger. There it is. So I am not going to install that right now because I don't want to pick up the extra dependency. But yes, it is there and we can use that. So what I am going to do is I am going to go modify the issue that we have that is about logging. So I'm going to hop over here and I am going to say we should likely be using the NuGet package, that one. Comment. There we go. And actually, there we go. Give no currency to known bot. Give good error message if settings are not configured. Show the coins one. Connect the soundboard project to the chatbot. Send whispers to a user that requests a command that errors out of the bot is unsure what they mean. Send a quote to command use based on parameter user pass in alias command with that. Just looking over the issues, guys. Enhance commands command to support enabling and disabling of plugins. You could do that. Enhance quote add support, adding chat users lapse message. That's a weird one. There's a lot of challenges with that. Okay. So here's what we want to do. I am going to make another request to you guys to at some point, someone take a look at this code, make sure it is not total crap, garbage, junk that I don't want to merge in, but I'm pretty sure since this should be mostly exclusive to the heist game itself, it shouldn't be a problem to bring this in, and then we can treat everything that's in here as bugs for any changes or enhancements for any new features we want to add in. But we should be able to add in this game. The heist game balance is way off right now, and we need to tweak it so that people stand any chance at all of winning it, and so that it handles money and things like that. But if someone wants to review this and make sure that that works pretty well, that would be appreciated. If any of our regulars are in here, people that usually contribute to the project. And something else that I want to mention to everybody that's here, all of our stuff, everything we work on is out on GitHub, so you all can contribute to this project if you like. It is all available. All the source code is out there, everything we work on, including all the issues that we discuss in here. And by issues, I mean like GitHub issues. So there are things that, that we have set out on GitHub that we want to do at some point. Okay, so here's what I am going to do. I don't want to keep going too much longer, but I think there's one other task that I want to tackle before we end the stream for the day. So what I'm going to do is this. I want to look at the TwitchLib upgrade. Even if we don't complete it today, I want to look at what's in here. Whoops, check out -b. Helps if you type the command correctly, Brendan. Alright, so even if we don't actually finish this one today, I want to take a look at what is in it. So we're going to go ahead and bite the bullet and finally actually look at the TwitchLib upgrade. So we have a few updates we can do. One of them is TwitchLib, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And notice, here's a big thing, everybody. Big thing that I want you all to be paying attention to. This is the reason. This is one of the big reasons why our project is structured the way it is. Notice, the TwitchLib project only has a direct reference inside of that infrastructure Twitch project. We don't have to touch it anywhere else. So what that means is if we want to change this bot so it doesn't work with Twitch, it works with Discord or something else. If we decide, hey, you know what, we're no longer going to be streaming on Twitch, we're going to stream on YouTube or whatever, right? Then we just change off of the TwitchLib library to a, equivalent YouTube chat library, whether we write it ourselves or whether we depend on an existing one. So that is the cool thing that I wanted to show you all there. So I am going to update to the latest stable version that is in NuGet, and we're going to take a look. I haven't looked at what is in here, but I want to see what breaks. So if this changes easily, awesome. If it requires some extra work, then we'll look at that too. So now when I do, actually I did a build, but I don't want to do a build. I want to do a clean and build. And additionally, I want to make sure that I have stopped the bot entirely, because it is of critical importance that we really, really get fresh stuff when we get new dependencies. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So you'll notice it is highlighting red where the build errors are. Anybody notice where the build errors are and where they're not? All of our build errors are inside that Twitch project because we didn't allow that dependency to spread throughout our whole project. So we've got it all nicely in here. That's why we have this structure we have, is all of our changes are right in here now. So I do know that they mentioned that they made a number of breaking changes to their API, and so we're going to figure out what those are by clicking a couple of these. So they moved where the interfaces were. We're going to get rid of those because that's clearly not the namespace they're using anymore. The Twitch client probably also moved. There it is. Okay. And so now, so that was this one. I'm just going to jump around to a couple of these and fix the usings to start with. I'm going to get rid of the ones that no longer exist and hope that a lot of these events stayed the same. So chat message, yep, there we go. So that one moved. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. So we're going to get rid of those again. So they moved a lot of things around, it seems. So they changed up the structure of the project, which I approve of. They didn't have a fantastic structure. Is that the correct one? I hope that's the right one. I'm not sure which one we're actually getting there. We'll find out if I included the wrong namespace on any of those. Connection credentials. So we're going to use that. Twitch client probably also moved into the Twitch client folder. Okay. Looks like they changed up their constructors a little bit too. So on user left, that's now in events, so that makes sense. Okay. Send message on Twitch client. Did they change what that Did they change what that's called? Send message. Must take new parameters then. Oh, it now requires the channel on the message. So it's now expecting that your bot's connected to more than one channel. Very interesting indeed. Okay. Definitely want to change things up a little bit there. So the first thing I notice is that I called this message here, and I shouldn't be calling that off of this. I should be calling the internal one first off, so that we're only calling that in one place. Although now that I think about it, I didn't write that method. I didn't write that, so someone else did that one. Oh, Joban, can I pass in star for that? Will that do it in all the channels it's connected to? Is that what that'll do? I wish they'd given me some text on that. Okay, there's the undocumented API again. And then that gets all of those. So they changed how this works. So the Twitch client, a WebSocket, and a logger. That's funny. See, it's taken in the logger there. How does it get connected then if it doesn't, like, I have to pass that in? That's annoying. That's a significant change right there on that one. Oh, okay, Joe. Well, either way, we should have access to settings. So there's the channel. So we passed it in. So we still need to mess with those. I'm going to come back for that in a minute. We're going to look over here, see what else needs to get its usings updated. So a lot of these are just, they moved stuff. Those are easy fixes. If they just moved something, that's just a namespace change. Twitch API, it moved to a different place, so we're going to put that in there. Okay. Twitch follower service. We need to remove these because they move those. So we're going to update the interfaces. We need to update the follower service interface using statement as well. There we go. Set channel by name. That must have changed significantly, apparently. Okay, that's fine. Oh, set channel by channel ID. Happens that channel ID and channel name are the same thing. Just for the record. Remember, my user ID, well, actually, wait. Is channel ID the same thing as channel? Which one's the weird one? Not 100%. User ID is different, but channel... By channel ID, do you mean channel ID or do you mean channel name? Swifty Spiffy isn't still in here, is he? We need to be sure what this is. Alright, so now we come over here. So there's that change. We need to be sure what this is. And then the other ones are mostly namespace changes. So we're changing a lot of namespaces. That's fine. We're going to discard that change. Okay, so they changed how you set up the client. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hop over to TwitchLib. Because they've got to have in their documentation how that one gets set up now, and I want to make sure I don't mess it up. So, client, so create the client and initialize with credentials in the channel. So they got rid of that, and they now do an initialize method. That's fine. makes me wonder whether there's actually a safety against this. Yeah, Joe Bun, I think you're right. I'm thinking channel ID might be user ID. Kyle80, welcome. Thanks for following. Hopefully you're enjoying DevChatter today. I think you might be right, Joe Bun. I believe that it might actually be the other one. Wait, what? Oh, okay, there. It did actually disappear there? Okay, so TwitchLib API. And then when it asks for... Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We need to do this, and I am not happy about this right here. I think I can get away with this. We're gonna find out if I can get away with this. var API. I don't know if I can do this or not, guys. The way I'm doing this right here, we may have to change this. API dot. Oh, it's not initialized now? What did they change about this constructor here? Logger factory, that, yeah, they had to have added something. Okay, I think generalized, it seems like, not when they're looking at the code, but it looks like they still have set channel by name on follower service. But what I'm looking at might be outdated. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, TwitchLib API. I want to take a look at how they set up the API. Oh, whoa, whoa, weird. Okay, so they just straight up set them here. API dot settings dot client ID equals client ID, and then access token equals access token? Equals... So now what I have to do is I need to save this, and we're going to call that settings. So we're going to say var settings equals that. This is way worse than just having a constructor parameter here, guys. I might need to talk with the Twitch API people and find out, TwitchLib API people, and find out why they set this up this way, because this is a little weird. I assume the access token they're talking about is the OAuth token. And now I need to return our API. That is, like, really annoying. So basically, I just had to put this, like, initialize method here. Now I can yank that out and actually make that a method instead of being in line as a Lambda expression here, but that is messier than I'd like. Not super thrilled with that one. But we'll see. Alright, what's next? Okay, so we got some usings that we need to hide away there. Okay, wait. Our chat command is doing something kind of weird there, guys. So it now just has chat message as the only thing. You know, I'm not even using this test right now. So I'm just going to get rid of that. We're not using that. Pseudolite. We are doing a quick glance at what it's going to take to do a TwitchLib upgrade. So on our bot, we depend on a library called TwitchLib, and that's actually what makes all the communication to the Twitch API as well as to the IRC and WebSockets and whatever else connections we need to make. I believe this one's using the WebSockets approach to connect to IRC. The error list window in Visual Studio should die. Should so much die. I hate it. Jobun, it leaves something to be desired, but I have trouble complaining about it too much because it does give me a lot of value still, even in spite of the problems with it. Alright, so not surprisingly, I got an exception thrown, which is not really crazy. I was expecting one, as we did upgrade to a new version of TwitchLib. So you upgrade an underlying library that had a lot of breaking changes. You kind of expect it to break a little bit. But I think we've got a pretty good idea of what needs to change here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make a commit to this. So starting the upgrade. So we're going to put that in there, and we're going to publish this. Need to verify this as well. So I'm going to commit that. Adding another comment about the upgrade. So I want to have those in there so that we make sure that we look at those. And yeah. All right. I think I want to do a couple of things. Actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and do this. Git checkout master. Yes to all. Let's go ahead and build this. And then once it's built, I am going to run it. Give me one sec, guys. The bot's not running. Ikoria de Eldar. And I apologize for butchering your name, but hello and welcome. Hope you're having a great day. What I want to do is get the bot up and running. And I want to mention that all of the code that we've got is out here on GitHub. What is your version control tool? I am using Git as my version control, and the UI that I'm using here is called Git Desktop. GitHub Desktop. So it is this. You can find it by going to desktop.github.com right here, and you can go ahead and download it, and it gets you this program. I use it for the stream, and it works pretty well for us here. So the thing I wanted to mention is that all of our code, everything we work on, is out here at github.com/devchatter, and you will find under this URL, you will find a few different projects. You will see our bot project. You'll see Game Tracker that we've been working on, stream info. And our stream info is actually where you can find our schedule, posted, a regular schedule, as well as upcoming streams and things like that. I'm going to adjust this one. We're going to have a guest on Thursday. He is scheduled for that one, so I will go ahead and write that in here right now while I'm talking to you guys. So our next stream will actually be on Thursday, pair programming with James Chambers. So I'm going to put that there for now, just so that it's on there. Whoops. If I'm not an idiot and put it on the wrong place, way to go, Brendan. We're going to pretend I didn't do that and pretend I did that the whole time. Yeah. Okay. So, use Tortoise Git, and you're going to switch to source tree. I actually have used SourceTree before. One of the reasons why I stopped using SourceTree is because it messed with my local settings, and I was not very happy about that. So I stopped using it because it messed with things that I didn't like it messing with. It actually messed with things that modified my other source control tools without my telling it to do so. So I was an angry developer that day that I found that out. So anyway, as I was mentioning, all of our stuff's on GitHub, so if you do want to contribute, you wanted to make any suggestions about the stream, you can put them here. If you want to make any suggestions or you want to contribute to our bot, you are all welcome to. Everyone is. DevChatter is, open to people submitting code or making suggestions. So if you want to just practice your code, check out our GitHub, github.com/devchatter. And if you enjoy talking to me or anyone else who's in our chat and you want to talk about tech stuff, development, whether you are a C# dev, Java dev, JavaScript dev, doesn't matter what your preference is, feel free to show up and talk to us, especially if you are interested in contributing to the projects. Join our Discord, and that is the place where you can talk to us outside of the stream. So there are a number of us over there, and we talk about code and various things like that. So if you caught the earlier part of our stream, where we did our little retry code, that is actually something where a few of us actually in our chat had discussed ways of doing our little async retry code that we did. So we could essentially, we have a task extension now that allows us to do a simple little retry, and it will retry, say, 5 times with a half-second delay on each attempt to call to an API that's not very stable. So the idea is if that API throws an exception on us, we want to try again instead of just failing, because we know that API is a little unstable. So we call it with a little safety on it, because we know that it does that. It throws 500 errors. It's an undocumented part of the Twitch API, so we know it happens. And anyway, so we had actually, a few of us had discussed implementations of that in our Discord. If you're an embedded C developer, that is also not a problem. Many of us have written C before. I used to write in C and C++. I write in C# now. And you spelled schedule wrong, Janisku. So, for example, our schedule posted in my time zone, because I'm at UTC offset -4. We stream on Mondays at 2 p.m., Tuesdays at 2 p.m., so that was starting 2.5 hours ago. As you can tell from our uptime command, 2.5 hours ago is when I started this stream. And our next stream will be on Thursday at noon. And as I said, we're going to have a guest on that stream. We're going to have James Chambers with us again. And we will be pair programming. And so that is going to be a fun one that you will not want to miss. So if you haven't yet and you are here, make sure you hit that follow button that might be up at the top if you're in a web browser, and if you're on an app or something like that, there might be a heart somewhere. I don't know, somewhere around the screen. Maybe it's up there or over there. I don't know. Somewhere around here, there's probably a button for following. But if you click that button, you'll get an alert when we go live, and you will not miss a stream. Additionally, I should mention that we are the archives of our videos. You can check the videos section in Twitch for the archives of our videos, but anything that's old enough and has dropped off of Twitch because it only hangs on to those videos for a certain amount of time, we will be uploading those also to YouTube. So as they essentially, what I'm going for is like there's a few weeks delay on the YouTube stuff, but you should be able to find videos showing up there as well. So if you want to see some of the early stuff, figure out how we got to where we are today, you can go ahead and check those out on YouTube, which I linked in chat. You should see there. And other than that, I wanted to thank everybody who showed up today and talked and followed and participated in any way at DevChatter. I want to thank Coded Beard for the Twitch Prime subscription. Greatly appreciated. Make sure you enjoy the DevChatter hype emote, which is our awesome little hype guy. And Twitchlove, completing the 100-bit cheer with a 99. So thank you, Twitchlove, for the biddies today. And I also want to thank C# Fritz for the auto host. So C# Fritz, If you are interested at all in, oh, I can't type. Streams. There you go. I'll use the streams command. He's the second one. C# Fritz. He is a streamer that does C# development also. So we like him here. He's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. We worked together for a while, and he now works at Microsoft, and I, at least for now, don't. I have said for years that I never will. Maybe it'll change at some point, but for now, I am just a former Microsoft MVP and an insider in like every single department that they've got. So I'm one of those guys that they invite to see all their stuff early, but I don't actually work there. Anyway, so as I said, go ahead and check out our GitHub, check out our Discord, and yeah, other than that, have a great day, code something fun, and enjoy however much of your Tuesday you've got left. So, I know plenty of you, it's evening, maybe nighttime in Europe, so hopefully I didn't keep you up too late, and enjoy. Thanks.